Welcome back. So in today's session, we'll learn about loops in Python and we'll learn about for loop in Python. So let's get started. So what is a loop? So let's say if I want to show a message 100 times, learn with Pratap, I want to print it 100 times, then in that case, we can use a loop. So in computer programming, loops are used to repeat a block of code. Okay. So in Python, we have two types of loop. So one is a for loop and the other is a while loop. Let's learn about for loop in Python. So let's say we have a name, Pratap, and I want to print each character of this name. So what I can do is for char in name, and I can say print char. So let me just run this code so that you get an overview. So you see here we have each individual character of that string. So this is how Python for loops works. So it tests a condition. If the condition is true, it will go to the body of the loop. If the condition is false, then it will terminate the loop. So in our case, we are iterating over the range of this string. This loop initially starts with the value Pratap p in it. It gets p from here. It's true, and then it will enter the body. So here it will print the character p, and then it will go back here. And this time, so in the next iteration, the value of char will be r. Second iteration. In the third iteration, the value of char will be a. In the fourth iteration, the value of char will be t. And then in the next iteration, the value of char would be a. And in the last iteration, the value of char would be p. Okay. We can use the loop to iterate over a list, tuples, or string. So here I've used an example of string. So I can, let me just edit here. Like for loop is used to iterate over sequences such as list, tuples, strings, etc. Okay, so we should all know this. So here in this case, I was using an example of string. So in the second example, I can use, like, let's say I have a list of languages. And let's say we have here Go, we have here Python, we have here JavaScript. So I want to print each languages. So how can I do that? It's very simple. Let's say for, let's say language in languages, and I can say print language. And if I run this code, you can see I have Go, I have Python, I have JavaScript. So just let me comment this part so it's not required anymore. Let's run this code again. So you can see we have Go, Python, and JavaScript. Let's understand like what exactly is happening here. So in the above example, we have created a list called languages and it has 3 items in it. Initially, the value of language would be Go and it is set to the first element of the array, which is Go. And the print statement here, it would print the value of language, which is currently Go. In the second iteration, the language will be updated to Python. It will use the next element and the print statement will be executed again, okay? So this way a loop runs until the last element of the list is accessed. So let's learn more about the for loop syntax. Syntax of for loops is basically, you can say for some value in sequence. And here we can run the statements. Here we'll be iterating over what? A sequence. What is a sequence? In Python, we have list, tuples, or string. For each iteration, we'll have a value. For in this case, we have assigned a variable called language. Here I'm saying val. So for every value in the list or in the sequence, we'll have a variable and it will have the value assigned from the list. And here val is accessed each time sequences on each iteration. The loop continues until we reach the last item in the sequence. Okay. So these are the basic example of for loop. Also, we can use for loop with Python range. So let's say we have values equal to range of 10. So range is a Python built-in function. It's basically range object. So it will give us, so when I say range of 10, then it will give me a range from 0 to 9. Like if I print values, you can see Let's run this code. So you see we get a range of number from 0 to 10. So here what you can see is here inside the range I've given 10. So it defines a range containing values 0 to 9. So in Python we can use for loop to iterate over the range. It's very simple. Let's try this. We can say for I in values and we can print I. So let me comment this again. Let's save and let's see. So when I iterate over a range, so I will get for the first iteration I get 0, for the second iteration I get 1, for the third iteration I get 2, and so on. So we can use for loop for ranges too. Also, we can run a loop without accessing the item. So like let's say we have a values here. So instead of printing the I, what I can say is I can say my name is Pratap. My name is Pratap. So in this case, what would be I doing is like I'm not using the variable which I have in this for loop. So I will directly say like I want to print my name 10 times. So what I can say is I can use a range from 0 to 9 and then I can use a for loop and iterate over the values and print my name is Pratap. So in this case, I'll be printing my name 10 times. So this. So in this case, we were not using this variable I. So in this case, what I can do is I can just say underscore. In this case, if I want to ignore the value here, so I can use underscore and just print. Also, Python for loop has an else block. Okay. So print else. So how would this else work? So first of all, it will go into this iteration. So once this iteration completes, then it will go to the else block. This else block is an optional else block. So the else part is executed when the loop is exhausted. So here we have learned about for loop. We also learn about where we can use for loop. We can use to iterate over sequences such as list, tuple, string. So here we learn how to iterate over a string. So we have learned how to iterate over a list. And also we have learned how to iterate over a range. And we also learn about the optional else block, how we can use it. So this is it from this session. So hope to see you in another session.